This is going to be a lightning quick introduction to Wolfram Alpha with some ideas for teachers on how to use it in the classroom. If you click on examples from the home page, you'll see there's lots of things for you to explore in pretty much every subject area that we teach. But I'm going to show you a couple of specific things. We'll start with some math. So if you type in a simple expression, a half times x plus 6, Wolfram Alpha gives us 5 different outputs. Any expression you type in, Wolfram Alpha is going to solve. So giving kids homework assignments like this isn't going to help. So instead, tell them to type it into Wolfram Alpha. Tell them Wolfram Alpha is going to tell you 5 different things. What are those 5 different things, and why does it tell me these 5 things? For example, does the graph of this expression cross the x-axis to the right or to the left of the y-axis? Kids have to look closely at the graph. Why is this equivalent to that? It understood that as an input, gave an alternate form like this. Where did that come from? What does it mean the root is -6? And why on God's green earth is it showing me a graph at all? We didn't type in an equation to begin with. You can type in more complicated expressions, like such as the say an integral of sine to the 4th x times cos to the 4th x. And if you type that into Wolfram Alpha, it's going to give you, well, it's going to give you the answer. And then it's going to give you a graph, a plot of the integral, alternate form. So you can go into much greater depth than you would in most typical classes. But you see that show steps link. Well, if you click on that, then it's going to show you all the steps that Wolfram Alpha took to evaluate that integral. So we got to start thinking differently about homework. For example, it says that it starts by using a reduction formula, then it uses an identity, then it does some expanding, and then again it does some factoring. So it takes us through all those steps. So what could the homework question be? Is there another way to solve this? Is there a more elegant way? Has Wolfram Alpha found the most elegant solution? Those might be some interesting questions to explore, and perhaps not to have students do that individually, but perhaps to collaborate with another. This is the definite integral of that same expression between 2 and 3, and here you see it gives us the value, it gives us the graph, and if I wanted to grab any of these things, I just have to click on it. I'm just dragging it into a nearby folder, and this is actually the proof that I showed you earlier. Just drag it and drop it into a document. In this case, I'm using a smart notebook, and it's quite a long proof. There it is. So you can kind of copy. It's a nice way to use Wolfram Alpha to do calculations for you. Another thing you can use Wolfram Alpha for is chemistry. Now, I didn't type in a balanced equation. This is a chemical equation. H2 plus N2 gives NH4. Now, that's not a balanced equation. Look what Wolfram Alpha did. It gave me the balanced equation. So don't send kids home asking them to balance equations. Send them home with a balanced equation. Ask them to make up various problems to solve, or equations that need to be balanced, that when entered into Wolfram Alpha do give the correct balancing expression. And you can get an awful lot of information about even these atoms and this particular chemical reaction, and it even breaks down the individual substances and compares them side by side. What about social studies teachers? Because this is for more than just math. Well, I'm in Canada, so let's take a look at what Wolfram Alpha has to say about Canada. It gives you a whole whack of information about the country, maps, geographic properties. Now, it knows that I'm in Canada, so it's showing me the metric values here, so I can see the non-metric. If you're in the States, it would give you the imperial, and then it would say show metric, and you go back and forth. The bordering countries, United States, that's actually an error. We have a border with Denmark as well in the far north. And then cultural properties is fascinating, actually. If you click on show more, you can keep getting more and more and more and discover all the various languages spoken in Canada, the ethnic mix, the religion, show charts about it, and all of this stuff can be dragged and dropped into pretty much any type of document. What about one last thing before we kick off is you can compare Canada, say, to the US, but you could also do side-by-side comparison with another country, and then it's really fascinating to look at these comparisons, compare the geographic space, but the cultural stuff, the demographics, showing rates like birth rates, death rates, migration rates, fertility rates, mortality rates. All of these things would be really interesting fodder for discussion. Just some ideas for what you could do with Wolfram Alpha. That's it.